Hello, and thank you so much for joining me today. In today's conversation, we're going to talk about the present moment and the true self. What do I mean by the true self? Well, you'll hear me talk a lot about the true self. Not in any way that I'm able to describe it, because I do think it's indescribable, but by speaking about it and trying to bring it to your attention. And that's where we come to speaking about the present moment, because our mind can have a tendency to either rush back into the past or rush back into the future. So in many ways, it's imagining or thinking about everything that has happened, or imagining and thinking about everything that can happen. But becoming focused in the present moment is actually where reality is happening. I'm here in the Glendalough Hills in the Garden of Sacred Tears Centre in Lara, surrounded by the Glendalough Mountains. And I can hear the wind blowing outside. I can see the trees fluttering in the wind and the clouds in the sky passing. It seems like it's going to rain, but it's a beautiful present moment that I'm immersed in. I'm also having a cup of tea, and if you have time, you can pause this conversation and get yourself a cup of tea and join me in this experience. Because many of us growing up, and the way the information age is, everyone seems so busy, everything's moving so fast. This podcast has a few aims in mind. They're very simple. No ulterior motives, clearly. I'll tell you what I'm trying to do. The first is an invitation to actually bring you here. So to say that being in each other's presence, so much can be said through that presence that can't be said in words. And it's like the experience of love or the experience of compassion. You have to experience that for yourself. Which also brings me to the second goal that the Garden of Sacred Tears was set up for. That's to help people who are going through a challenging time, experiencing grief, loss, or bereavement. And I mean loss in many kinds of forms, not just the loss of a loved one, but loss of an idea, loss of purpose or meaning, loss of goal, a life expectation. So much that we lose. If you're struggling through that, then this is a space that's designed to help you cross through that difficult journey, not on your own, with support, with compassion, with empathy, trust, and non-judgment. The third goal of these conversations is to help you reconnect with your true self. Instead of describing what the true self is, let me first talk about what it's not. So as we've been growing up, all these identities have been put on us, whether we are, intelligent or not, whether we are smart or not, whether we are beautiful or not, whether we are talented or not, whether we are, good looking or not, whether we are the perfect beauty standard, size, shape or not, and so much more, whether, we have achieved things, or we are a success, or whether we've lost out, or whether we are rich or we are poor. All those different identities can sometimes get quite deep rooted, and we can lose sight of that which we actually are. Now, these identities might have formed when we were much younger. For example, the adults in our lives may have said some things nice, but also some things which were unkind that we have absorbed and made part of us. Or if we experience bullying in school, or words of a teacher or somebody else, of a friend, was good or unkind, helpful or unkind, but that stuck with us, all those can continue being part of our identity as we grow up into our teenage and adult years. However, think of the identity that you had when you were just born, when there was no sense of who you are, without any labels of religion, culture, family that you were born in, no labels of gender, no labels of what you are going to be in life, all these other labels that I mentioned in terms of whether you were described as talented, intelligent, beautiful, smart, not intelligent, all those things, before you were any of those labels and you were just pure consciousness, what was your true face? What was your true form? What was your real self? And the question is whether we can go back to that real self, let go of all the identities that are not ours, that were put on us, and start to see ourselves for who we actually are. So it's about letting go in many ways. And sometimes it can be hard to let go of identities that we have deeply rooted ourselves in. So the Garden of Sacred Tears is a place where we reflect on our true self, let go of the identities that are no longer working for us, and be able to reconstruct ourselves for a self that's truer to who we want to be. Because at the Garden of Sacred Tears, in my work as a psychologist, my approach does not see anybody as imperfect or some kind of improvement that they have to do or things that they have to reach for in the future, that one day you're going to get better. No, absolutely not. For me, everybody is perfect in who they are. I'm not here to define who you should be or who you should not be, but I am here to support in helping you let go of identities or things that you don't feel you are and that you don't want to be. And if you feel that you want to free yourself from the shackles of the past, the pains of the past traumas and worries about the future, and actually live in the moment, connect with your truer self, be able to create from the present moment new identities, new purpose and meaning, then that's exactly where I would love to be there with you. So that's what these conversations are about. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a beautiful day ahead. I hope you enjoy the present moment and your cup of tea if you're having one. But with my best and sincere wishes, thank you for joining me today. I hope to speak to you again soon. And do reach out to the Garden of Sacred Tears, our website, www.gardenofsacredtears.com. For any feedback, any thoughts, or if you'd like to join our meditation or mindfulness sessions or a psychoeducational workshop that we are hosting, or if you'd like personal therapy, please do reach out. Take good care of yourself. Yours truly.